My shout out today goes to Favor Sohe. She was the first to comment. Shout out to you, girl.
I'm going to be showing you how to make 4D whitening soap. My ingredients today are I already cut my soaps so that we're able to move fast. This is the Larissa soap. It's a carrot based soap and it's a very strong lightning soap. I would say don't use this soap alone on your skin. It can burn you, so that's why we use it in a lot of mixtures of soaps. Most Snow White soaps and all of that, and Ushak Prapra and the rest use this soap. Okay, now I'm also using the Nano Extra White soap, the Nano Extra White Natural Papaya and Carrot soap. This is the carrot and papaya based soap with glutathione. I'm also using the Caro White soap. This also is a carrot based soap, and I am using K Brothers soap. So I use 2 Caro White, 2 K Brothers, 1 Nano Extra, and half Larissa soap. This is a very small quantity of soap. I also have my yellow ozone soap here. Yellow ozone soap is for people that have very stubborn skin, but at the same time you don't want to use too much of your ozone soap. I used half ozone soap. Too much of that can also burn your skin. And my oils today, I'm using Nature's Secrets carrot oil, not the carrot one, sorry, the regular one. This is a very potent oil. You can even use it to mix your creams alone and still get good results. I have whitener oil. I have my soap activator and soap booster. I've recorded a video telling the difference between soap activator and soap booster. I have skin free milk. I have Snow White powder. I have I have kojic acid powder. I have sesame seed oil, and then I have my white top serum, sorry. So and water, and my gluta white shower gel. Okay, now these are the things that I want to talk to you about. When I'm talking about soaps, I always talk about the fact that soap needs to be alkaline for it to be able to lather well. And so if you add in too many actives to your soap, you have to put in some form of booster. Okay, and that is where soap booster or cocoa betaine comes in. Okay, now this soap is a carrot papaya based soap, and when you're making soaps like this, because it's a lot, you're taking this soap and adding to this and adding to that. Most times you don't know the key ingredients used in making these soaps, and it can be very drying and harmful to the skin. So you want to choose soaps that have common things in common. Okay, and most of these soaps contain very fruity extracts, and very when you look at their ingredients, you will see that in soaps you rarely use too many powders and all of that, and that is something that we fail to understand when we're using soap. Little goes a long way with soaps. Okay, as long as you have those key components in it, you'll be fine. Okay, that is where all these serums come in, because they are much more stable. They are acidic and they are much more stable. They've gone through a certain process. But when you're adding in powders like kojic and alpha arbutin and the rest, they are not going to do anything in your soap, because they have to be at a certain pH. Except you're going to reduce the pH of your soap, and then in adding some booster of some sorts, that might work well for you. So that's why most times putting in all these powders doesn't really make sense, in my opinion, for this soap. Okay, I rather put in more of concentrates and serums into the soap. So this soap is going to be more like an exfoliating soap. I have chosen to use more of AHAs. My shower gel here today has AHA, vitamin B3, vitamin C, and goat's milk. I like goat's milk as well, and I like AHAs. And the concentrate I'm also using is purely an AHA concentrate. And yeah, kojic acid is stable up to 9, so that's okay for this soap, as well as my Nature's Secret oil, whitener oil, and my sesame seed oil, just to bring in some moisture to this soap. Okay, so that's something you want to consider when making mulatto, shakprakra, 4D, and all sorts of soaps. Okay, try to use more of concentrates and use powders that are botanical, that are not synthetic, because those need to be at a pH of a certain level, and putting them in your soap is not going to do anything for your soap. Okay, so I hope this makes sense. I wanted to clear that out, because most times my students say, oh, I saw this soap, they put in this acid, they put in that acid, and why are we not putting it? So this is my explanation for that. Okay, another thing when making this soap is that you want to make sure that you are not putting this soap to direct heat. You are using the double boiling method. If you put this soap to direct heat, your soap will not come together and it will not lather, such that even when you go back to put in soap booster and the rest, it's not going to do anything in your soap. Okay, so that's something you want to make sure that you're putting this on low heat and not direct heat. So I'm going to put in a little bit of my shower gel, just a little, to help the soap melt really well. You can do 30 ml if you want. You can do half a cup if you want, just a little. Okay, so my soap has been cooked, and you can leave this to melt on for as long as you want. And so I went ahead to add my soap booster while it was on fire, just to help it melt easier. I added 20 grams of soap booster to melt the quantity of soap I had. So as you can see, it is cooked. And sometimes why you see the mulatto soap and gives that pink color is the choice of ozone soap used. So for like mulatto or shakrapra soap, most times people use what's it called, pink ozone soap, and that's why I used yellow for this one. So I'm going to go ahead to add my powder. Just while this is still very hot, I'm going to be using 1 tablespoon of kojic acid. So while my soup is still hot, I'm going to add my powder. The heat from the powder will help dissolve the kojic. If you don't want to cook your soap, you can go ahead to just leave it for days so that all the soaps will incorporate. I'm using 20 grams of snow white powder. I want this soap to be a vibrant yellow. I always explain that I don't add my industrial oils because they're heat sensitive, and then if you add them to heat, they will become non-existent. That is why you add them later on. So I'm going to go ahead to add my activator. I'm going to be using 50 grams of soap activator. can leave your soup longer, okay, so that all these things are fully melted. Okay, we're going to add 20 grams of whitening oil, 20 grams as well. So 20 grams. One tablespoon of skimmed milk. One. You don't need too much. Too much of everything is bad. 1 tablespoon. So this is it. This is the final result. If you want your soup to be, much more harder, you can add more. You can chop up 1 or 2 bar soaps into it and leave it for a period of time. It will harden. If you had put this over direct heat, you probably won't get this result like this, because it will become like I don't know how to explain, but it will be very strong. So that's why you leave this for days, or you put it under there using double boiling method, not direct heat. Okay, you can use your stick blender or your what's it called, hand mixer, to hand whisk this.
So this is it after 3 days. I let it sit because I wanted it to have a nicer consistency. And so sometimes if your soap cools down and you leave it for days, it will become thicker. If you feel like it's still too thick, you can add some shower gel to it. And so this is the final result. You might notice a change in color. That is very okay.